Hi, good day, and welcome to another edition of AEA Insights. My name is Daniel Ojo. As usual, we'll bring you another riveting interview. Today, my guest is someone who knows a lot about the power and energy sector as far as Ghana is concerned. He started his career from the Volta River Authority. He progressed to become the CEO of the Ghana Grid Company, GRIDCO, and now is with the Electricity Company of Ghana. Therefore, when we talk about Ghana's power and energy sector, he's a man who is well versed and does understand what it really entails. Today, we're going to be talking about how to power Ghana as a country for the next 15 years, up until 2040. What would it take? What are the changes that must happen at the policy level and from us as citizens to make this dream a reality, to keep our lights on for the next 15 years if we want to industrialize? This is another edition of AEA Insight. My guest is Engineer William Amuna. These days, I hear he has an honorary title, so he's a doctor. Doc, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for making time.
I actually have a PhD.
You have a PhD?
Yeah.
Oh, see, I was reducing your title.
Yeah.
So you've really earned your
I
PhD.
have an honorary doctorate from KNUST.
That's correct. Where you school?
Alma Mater, yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Okay.
You've done so well for our energy sector and our power sector. But the most important question to a lot of Ghanaians is, shall we continue to keep the lights on? There's someone who mentioned that it appears that for almost every 8 to 10 years, we go through a power crisis of sorts. I don't know if that is true, but if that is true, how do we change this narrative, Engineer?
Okay. Thank you very much. I'm happy to have you here,
right,
so that we could discuss the power system. We all agree that the power system is very crucial to our development, and we need to get it right. Okay, like you said, we had this cyclical occurrence where virtually 7 to 8 years,
right,
we run into power crisis. And sometimes it becomes so devastating to us as the normal consumers and to industry. And of course, you know that industry has some connection to livelihood of many families.
Right.
So we need to get it right. Now, if you look at the power system, we started with generators in the various towns. I mean, I'm talking about the early 30s and the rest of those years. Then the wisdom of our forefathers, the Kwame Nkrumahs, they came out with this hydro scheme where we had Akosombo Dam. Indeed, in order that Akosombo Dam could be built, they needed some big load. So Valco had to come in to provide that load. And we had so much excess energy, we were just on hydro. Now, the only problem at the time was that parts of the country did not have the national grid. And that was addressed under the NESREP project in the late 80s, where power was sent all the way to Bogatanga, later to Wa, and the other Boku and the other areas. So now the demand is growing. Like I said, when I was a younger GDR, around 1985, just about 32% of Ghanaians had access to electricity, or maybe around that percentage.
Right.
But as it stands now, we are way above that. We are about 86%.
Right.
And growing. The only reason why we've not reached universal access is that some of the communities are the difficult to access communities. Some of the island communities is so difficult.
Yeah.
If you want to go, you may have to use a DC cable, which is expensive, or you'd have to come out with a solar scheme or whatever, which has been done in some of the islands.
Right.
And I know the ministry is working really well on that now, trying to get all those communities to have power.
Okay.
So, looking at the situation, the major reason why we were running into those problems was that the hydrology of the sub-region has changed. You know, like when we were kids, I'm not talking about your time. Okay.
Right.
The weather was totally different from here.
Right.
But now sometimes you are there and then it doesn't rain at all. I mean, the rain regime is so poor, you don't have access to hydro power. And that is what made VRA to go into thermal power, although that was more expensive. We had to go into thermal power to augment what we have. It continued because we didn't have enough thermal power. So when you don't have good rains, the dam goes down, and then you have to rely only on thermal power and then a bit of a hydro, then it becomes a big problem. Okay. The good thing is that between 2013 and 2016, there's so much infusion of power plants into the system.
Yes, I was going to come to that.
Car power came in, AXA came in, name them. I mean, all those power plants came in. So now we have enough thermal plants to be able to power the system. So once you have that, you balance that with the usage of the hydro so that you don't go below. The hydro becomes like a storage of energy, just like our battery. So that you have it there, you balance some hydro and then some thermal, and the hydro actually makes the price of the electricity come down.
Right.
But you need to know how to use it.
Right.
So that is what we are going to do now. So I don't expect such occurrences in the near future.
In the near future.
Yes, I believe that we've overcome that.
Okay.
With the thermal plants we have now. We are supposed to bring in new power plants right from 2027. We should be.
But that's 2 years away.
Yes. But there are other things. Some solars will be coming in. And now some of the solars are going to come in with storage. We have the wind that would also come in. I know some companies that want to come in with wind. So we just need to work hard to ensure that within the next few years we are able to bring in.
So when we're doing these projections, do we do it factoring in the population growth, the movement into maybe middle class where people are buying more air conditioners? Those kind of permutations, do they factor in the policy thinking of people like you, like engineers like you?
So, but let me make one correction. It's not just a middle class. These days, you go to villages, people that you think are not, but they want to be comfortable. They also have their air conditioners. I tell you, you go in there, people are really, things have changed. You go in, you have your DSTV, all those things. And that is good for the country.
Right.
I mean, it means we are going forward.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, year on year, we normally have about 200 megawatt increase in demand.
Okay.
And I know it's even going to go higher with the drive that is being put in now, the 24-hour economy and the rest of it. Some new industries are coming in. Right now, ECG wants to extend towards the Dawa area, send more power over there because we realize that many industries are springing up there.
Right.
So we just want to get everything right so that we are able to supply industry. And like I said, industry is linked to what do you call them? The livelihood of the normal Ghanaian.
Yes.
So we are working towards that.
For a lot of Ghanaians, while they want the lights to be on, they also want it to be affordable.
Yeah.
There are lots of times that PURC, for example, will go asking for an increment in tariffs. And when that happens, the conversation is, when electricity becomes too expensive, the chances are that people will now begin to steal power. Where you sit now is very, very critical as board chairman of ECG. This power sector is very critical, like you have mentioned. How do we ensure that we keep the power on, but we pay realistically for the power that we use so that people don't begin to steal the power?
I like the word realistically. That's good. Well, what is important is that the losses in the system, you reduce them.
Right.
We have 2 losses. No, I'm adding a third loss.
Are you going to talk about the technical losses?
Technical losses?
Yes.
Commercial losses, and then technological losses.
Okay. So what's the difference between the technical losses and then the technological that you have introduced?
The technological, people are using IT to do funny things.
Really?
Which, yes, people do it. So you would have to check to be sure that whatever is built and everything, it's a subset of technical losses anyway, but people are getting more sophisticated.
Really?
I mean, it's like the mobile. They can just hijack your phone and then they take your money and then all those kind of things. But people are getting really sophisticated.
And you've known about this for a while, or the chair you sit in now?
No. I knew about some of those things, but I wouldn't go in depth into some of the things that
Right.
we're talking about.
Right.
We are working on all those things. You need technology to be able to ensure that whatever is built is what is collected and it gets into your
Okay.
coffers.
Okay.
Okay. So technical losses, let me go there. We are actually coming out with a big program we started already, bringing in right rated transformers. Now what happens is that you need to go to a place, you get a land, virgin land, nobody lives there. Then you construct a road there, you put up your house, you get ECG to send power there, and in a matter of 1 year, well, other people come and build there,
Yes.
and they are all on that transformer. It's underrated, and the losses go up. The losses go up. So what we are doing is that we are going to match the areas with transformers, and possibly even have a 20% overcapacity on them,
Okay.
so that we don't get our transformers heating and if you have looked around, we have put in some tenders for people to come and supply transformers.
Oh, okay.
We are going to get so many transformers all over the place to be able to get everybody quality power.
Okay.
I mean, if the transformer is overheating, that's when you have these outages and other things. Now, the other thing we are doing about technical losses too is that if you take the lines, some of them are underrated, the conductors. So we are right sizing them, changing them to get, and the insulators, we are getting drones that would give us real-time information that will go fly it over all those things. So we've been working, the board is working with the MD to get all those things sorted out so that we are able to correct all the defects on the lines as well.
Okay.
Then comes the famous animal, the commercial losses. We have these quack electricians who go around, undertaking the bypasses of meters and the rest of it.
Yeah.
And we need to, I mean, most of the time people blame, they say, it's just the ECG workers who are doing it. No, there are other people who are really into it. I'm not saying that no ECG person is done. That
Right.
one, I don't think that would be true. But you get many of these quack electricians going around and then doing all such funny wiring. So what are we doing about that? We are coming out with what we call the boundary metering. Okay, assuming where we live here, West Legon,
Yeah.
there is a transformer just nearby here. Now, you would go in and then meter that transformer, and then in your setup, you create the spreadsheets and other things that would match that transformer, the meter on it, to the number of houses here that are consuming. Okay, so at the end of the month, if you look at the reading here and realize that the readings at various houses here don't match, if it goes beyond, say, 3% or 4 or 5%, you would have to send in people here to come and check. Then now, the real boundary metering starts with the whole big area somewhere where there's a transformer, and then we know that this is it. Does it match with that area that is being served?
Yeah.
So we are doing that. We've actually ordered the meters, everything, and then we are going to run that project.
Wow.
To get people doing that. Commercial losses. We are procuring meters, so many state-of-the-art meters. You know, there are now so many metering companies in Ghana.
There's so many different meters in the system, though,
Yes,
engineer.
I agree, but they work together.
Okay.
There is a system that MEDA provided for ECG called MMS. Okay, metering system. Now, if you are bringing whatever meter you are bringing, it should be compatible to MMS.
Okay.
So if you have the meter being compatible, it could be from different things. But once it's compatible to MMS, then it's okay.
Okay.
It's good to go. So the World Bank also came out with some support, and we are getting some meters out of that. So we're getting many meters. We don't want that situation that you have a house, you want a meter, you can't get the meter.
Yeah.
We are not metering you, and then we are losing.
Yeah.
Now, the more the losses, that is when ECG is compared to try to seek more money somewhere, because you are supplying the people, you are not getting the money.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you have to pay whoever is supplying you. So it's a chicken and egg situation. We need the money to be able to put in all those facilities. And sometimes, well, if you look at the salaries of people, and then you compare to the prices, then people will complain. It's natural. I mean, that one we all understand. But we try to understand each other so that we'll build a good system.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if I understand you correctly, if you fixed all these technical, technological, commercial losses, you are sure that it means that we would not have to go to PRC now asking for Ghanaians to pay more for the electricity that they use.
Not necessarily so. If you look at the tariff, there are so many things involved.
Okay.
The exchange rate and all those things are involved. So depending on certain macroeconomic conditions, we could go in and
okay,
ask for more. But what we want to do is to, the generation prices have gone down more or less. I mean, if you take solar, what it used to cost to produce a megawatt of solar is way, way, way low now. So we are looking at all those things and taking advantage of that to be able to make the system better.
If there's a big company that wants to say, our president has been out of the country trying to encourage other big companies. He was in Singapore encouraging people to come to Ghana, set up companies, etc. If people do come in and set up big companies, that would require that we need to provide them with electricity. If you look at your experience and what you said, do you look at the forecast and believe that we can provide electricity for upcoming businesses? There's talk about a 24-hour economy. If companies are supposed to run 24 hours, employ more people, do we have the capacity?
Okay. Yes, we do. I think 2 weeks ago, somebody called me and he told me that there was a company that wanted to come and set up here into one of these technology things, and they wanted 50 megawatts.
Wow.
Consistent power.
That's huge for one company.
Yes. Are we capable of that? And I said, oh, yes, we can. We can. That's why we are putting all these corrective measures. We want to be sure that, first of all, the supply is stable.
Yeah.
I mean, such a company will not come today, the power is on, the next day. No, we don't want that. We don't want that. So we want to ensure that our lines, everything at the right size, and then whatever. And of course, with the new generations that we are anticipating, we should be able to supply them that.
Okay.
We should be able to do that. So.
Is ECG solvent enough to undertake all these changes? I hear you talk about all the changes, but it would require a lot of financial outlay to have all these changes that you talk about. Is ECG having the capacity, or the citizen would have to pay for it in one way or the other?
Oh, what a good question. What a good question. I mean, I'll be lying if I say that we have that financial muscle.
Right.
Definitely, we don't have that. So that is why we are pushing hard the revenue collection drive.
Yeah.
Intense. It is really intense. Now, not long ago, we were collecting between 1.2 1.3 billion cedis every month. Through the revenue drive, a few months, I think 2 months ago, we got to 1.7 billion or even more. So we are pushing hard. We want to get to 2 billion. So once we are able to get, meanwhile, the debtors, there are many. We need to. And
government is your biggest debtor, though.
Sometimes I don't know how they get to know my house.
They know your house.
Yeah, they come here and normally I sit down outside here.
The debtors?
Yeah. Then when they
come and negotiate.
They tell no, they want to see if we can pay them. Then they come and tell me, oh, ECG owes me. I ask how much? They said $1.something million. I said, okay, we shall pay you, don't worry. Then they go away. I mean, you don't come to my house when you go to ECG and go and look for the money.
Right.
But of course, you need to be nice to the people.
Right.
Once you owe them, you need to, so they come here, we have a good chat. And I'll tell them some of the challenges we are going through. But the revenue drive, we want to make sure that we're able to get enough money. Then we pay off everybody. And it's not going to be now, I know. Yeah. But we are putting in the effort, at least. And people know.
Engineer, tell me, this revenue mobilization or revenue collection, was it not supposed to be solved by prepaid meters so that I've paid upfront for the power that I'm using? Why are we still collecting revenue if majority of us are on prepaid meters though?
Yeah. So assuming somebody taps before the meter will go off anyway. But it may go off anyway, but the person is still in power.
Okay.
So why you even cite the meter is important. And we are looking at that. In fact, industry, we are thinking of double metering. The industry can have all those internal things, but we, within the transformer or whatever that's supplying them, we put our own there. Industries, still power, I wouldn't lie. Hotels can be terrible. You go to the hotel, say they are consuming the air conditioners, everything is on, and they are not paying. Because they've tapped from a source that your meter, the meter, if you try to do something, it will go off. Okay, but depending on where you are taking it, it should go off, but you still have your power flowing, So we need to bring in technology like this boundary metering scheme that we want to bring in, and the other things, so that we know that at least somebody is stealing power here, and then we can go in and then act. It is important. Look, if people pay their bills properly, I'm sure overall tariffs will come down. And like I said earlier on, it is not just the poor people who steal power, but the affluent people who want to live some kind of lifestyle. Sometimes it's even worse. You go to their homes, the air conditioner is on, they are walking up and down and watching and turning the televisions on and whatever, and they are not paying. They have the money to pay, they will not pay. So that is our next line of attack. Areas that people expect that they wouldn't steal power. That's where we are going.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
And we I don't know how it will pan out. But if we get you stealing and you go to court, you are fined or something, I mean, that's not good image for your kids.
Maybe we should name and shame once we find
I don't know
them
how
guilty.
easy that will be. But for me, I mean, if that is what should be done, you do that.
Maybe
Then
we should name and shame.
You just, I remember when we were in the university, we used to have these practicals. Now, some were lazy students, they wouldn't do it, but they would go and copy somebody's practical work and then submit. Then the lecturer will say, William C., what's your first name? Daniel. Then write on your paper to Daniel C. William, just to tell you that you two guys were
I figured you out.
Honky-punky business.
But engineer, when I mean, extensive experience from GRIDCO, VRA, now ECG, when you advise or sit at board meetings, is there a country that you look at and say this is an ideal country in terms of what they do with their power and energy sector that we are emulating?
No, we used to look at ESCOM in South Africa. By this time, they are in a complete mess.
They are having their own challenges.
They are in a complete mess. And I have really not studied the North African countries. But within the sub-region, Kenya is doing well, but of course, they are not our... Cote d'Ivoire does well, but definitely we wouldn't copy them. Cote d'Ivoire, Senegal, Kenya, I know they operate very good systems. But Ghana is also on top there. Yeah, we're on top now.
If you just tune in, this is AEA Insights. This is a program where we discuss extensively about the energy and the power sector. And today, my guest is someone with extensive knowledge about the Ghana's power and energy sector. A man who's worked at VRA, at GRIDCO, was the CEO of GRIDCO until 2017, and now is a board member of MIDA and a board chairman of ECG. So he knows his onions when he talks about Ghana's energy and power sector. Today we're having a conversation about how to power Ghana for the next 15 years until 2040. It would appear very long, but it's not that long. How do we keep the lights on? And how do we ensure that the utility company is also solvent while keeping our lights on? Engineer William Amuna is my guest if you just tune in. Engineer, renewable energies, big topic these days, big talk about solar energy, about wind energy and all of that. How is that featuring in the thinking of policy makers in this country?
Okay. Well, it started off with some people coming in and they had what we call feed-in tariffs. And they were high, 18 cents and above.
Wow.
And that was really very high. But with time, the price of solar has really come down. I'm even told that some countries, they were getting 3 cents per kilowatt hour.
Wow.
I mean, that is really good. So what we are doing as a country is that we are looking at renewables, solar, wind, There has been extensive study of the wind regime around the Konakoblo, Ada, those areas. I mean, and there are some private investors who are very interested. They've been talking to ECG. We have the Bui Power Authority also deep into solar.
Yeah.
And what they are doing is that when you bring in some amount of solar, they want you to accompany it with some storage. You know, normally the solar, you can get good sunlight between 6 to 8 hours. And sometimes you don't get it at all. So they are trying to bring in a little storage to augment that so that at least in the night it's also able to contribute to the power system. That we shouldn't go off completely the night. For wind, it could be day or night. Maybe the night could even be better. So we should be able to get that over there. The issue is that solar, if some people come in, when I'll CEO of GRIDCO, they say, oh, they want to set up a 400 megawatt plant at an area. I say, no, we don't do that. In order to have a very good, what we call ripple control, to have a flat profile, the power supply profile, it's better to put them at various areas.
Okay.
Assuming you put, say, 50 megawatt in Bolga, 50 megawatt Tamale, 50 megawatt Sunyani. I mean, I'm talking about the various towns and whatever. If it's sunny in Bolga, it may not be sunny in Kumasi, you know, but overall you get some good profile. Okay, but if you just go and concentrate that big solar at one particular place, no, it's not right. And we should also look at land use. Sometimes when you put it too much for a particular area, they don't have enough land to be able to undertake their farming activities. So we have to look at that too. Now, these people, they have a very novel system, Bui, where they have the floating solar. I don't know whether you've been there.
Yeah, I've seen.
But you have it on the, you know.
Yeah, I've seen videos of it.
I'm told, I don't know, that sometimes the problem they have is the fishermen. You know, the fish would like to go under the panels, and that is when they can go and get a good harvest. So that's a challenge. But I think with education, and then we should be able to overcome that. But that's a very good thing.
Yeah.
I know VRE is also working on that to come out with a... VRE actually started the first solar at Navrongo. That was a small one. Was it 3 megawatt or so? That was small. But eventually, you know, we're having some solar coming into the system. And we hope that very soon that will also be good. Yeah.
So as a policy utility provider, you're doing solar, but now individuals themselves are doing solar. Would that not mean that you get less revenue?
Well, definitely it will reduce our revenue, but I don't think it's too... I mean, we have industrial others all coming in there. And well, sometimes there's this thing they were talking about, net metering. I don't know if you know of that.
No.
Net metering, you know, sometimes you have solar in your house and you generate more than you need.
Oh, right.
So you would have an arrangement that you can put some into the system.
Right.
And then you look at what you sent, and then what normally the, say, VRA will send to you. Then you try to, like ECG, no, you try to net it out.
Oh, right.
But what is going to happen, from my understanding of net metering, is that assuming you are generating, and then you put in, say, 50 kilowatt, you have excess 50 kilowatt, and then you put it into the system, you are using the system as your storage, and you must pay for that.
Yes, Engineer Jabesh mentioned that.
Yes. So if you put in the 50, some people are saying that you can only get 40% back. Some people say that give them back 60% and keep 40%.
Okay.
But it's not going to be cash. Okay? Because sometimes you have your solar during the day, then the night you want to use air conditioner.
Right.
So you push in so much during the day into the system. Then in the night, we say, okay, you gave us so much, but that was your storage. So we are only giving you back this. Okay? Don't ask me whether I belong to the 40% class or 60% class. You know?
Right.
But definitely as ECG chairman, you know what I would do.
I know.
You know, we need money. So
yeah,
if you are storing your energy in our system,
yeah,
you must pay for it. And then so when we are giving it back to you, we deduct that payment, and then we are good to go.
I've heard people say that. So, but that would require some technology, no?
No, it's just a metering system.
It's just a metering system.
Yeah.
Okay.
They have special meters for that.
Okay.
Yeah, net metering meters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are we paying the realistic prices, utility prices in Ghana for electricity?
I don't think so. I don't think so. If you look at the cost build-up, and don't also forget the fact that we need to put in new infrastructure to be able to get all this system working. I think there is some gap
Okay.
that should be addressed.
Okay.
Yeah. The only thing I also believe in is that normally it's not good to just bridge at once. I mean, that brings shocks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we are very mindful of that. And I think PURC too. So you could recently, I heard them talking about, they said ECG had asked for 200 and something.
Yeah.
It is really not 200 on what people pay now. No. Within the energy sector itself, okay, some generation is coming down, and it means the aggregate of the money, we say that we should get more of that. So it is what we are calculating towards that. It's not like if you say 200%, it means that if you were paying 10 cedis for 1 kilowatt in your house,
Yeah.
now you're going to pay 200%. It's not so.
Okay.
That isn't it.
With all the lessons you've learned, is there something we have learned from the past that we are correcting that will ensure that we don't go back into the dark days of energy, the power on, power off, power? I mean, what are some of the things you think that we didn't do right that going forward, with the benefit of hindsight, we should avoid? Whether you are in power, whether someone takes over from you for the foreseeable future.
Well, one of the problems has been with procurement. Procurement in the various arms of the power sector.
Right.
So I think we've learned a good lesson. Now we have a maximum the prices that you can bring in. I mean, you cannot just bring in, say, a thermal plant and then you are charging some big. No, we have the maximum that
Okay.
I remember when we were living around 2017 there, we had said that anything above 10 cents per kilowatt hour is not acceptable to us. That's what we said. And it held for some time, but I think now it's even gone lower.
Okay.
Especially with the renewables,
Right.
it's gone lower. Yeah. So that is a big area that we should be looking at. Let's just be transparent in our procurement.
Okay.
I mean, if you are supposed to buy a transformer for, say, $1,000, and then you go and overprice it to about $4,000, who has to pay for that excess?
Yeah.
It's the consumer.
Right.
So we need to look at that carefully. And I think we'll get it right if you're able to do that.
Engineer, thank you very much for everything you've done for our energy and power sector.
Okay.
We've had a very insightful conversation. But what will be your final words to consumers, to policymakers, and everybody who matters in our energy and power sector?
Yeah. Let me assure everybody that they should have confidence in the power sector actors. We have very brilliant engineers, VRA, ECG, BUI, and the rest of them. Like I entered ECG, my little interaction with ECG, of course I knew that before anyway, because I used to work with them. Very smart engineers in ECG, and very professional. I mean, they don't take delight in seeing people have light off,
Yeah.
because they know that it affects the revenue to ECG, and they are really working very hard. I interact with them, and what they need is that necessary support from management and then the board to be able to get the right equipment to work.
Okay.
So we now know that load shedding is over. These occasional trips, my good friend Dr. Kwamna Donko used to call it localized, So those localized things too are virtually absent.
Right.
And we are putting further efforts. We want to make sure that we're getting more transformers into the system. We want to change virtually all the lines that are underrated. And we need money. I mean, people should understand that we are working towards that goal. And we will definitely be achieving it.
Right.
I tell you, very soon, in about a year, you will see a further reduction in even localized outages. We'll put in the effort with a great job being done by the technicians and the engineers of ECG. We are definitely going to make our mark. And that is also going to help in the 24-hour economy.
Right.
If you say 24-hour economy and the people are going in the night, There are no lights. The street lights are not working.
Yeah.
They get to their factory, the power is off. I mean, that cannot be 24-hour economy.
Right.
So we are trying to support the president in his bid to achieve whatever he wants to achieve with the 24-hour economy by providing very reliable electricity of good quality,
Right.
not voltage dips, not brownouts, and the rest of them.
Right.
So thank you very much.
Thank you.
For coming.
Thank you.
And I truly appreciate your visit.
Thank you very much, Engineer.
Thanks.
This has been another edition of AEA Insights. On AEA Insights, we bring you riveting conversations about the power and the energy sector. My name is Ing.Dr. I hope you had a good time. And we'll say thank you to our guest, Engineer William Amuna. Very, very great conversation. Until next time, it's bye-bye for now.